Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. Greetings of His Majesty the Sultan to the custodian of the two holy mosques are conveyed by His Excellency the Minister responsible for Defense Affairs during his participation in the final practical demonstration of Ra'ad al-Shimal exercise. The effects of air depression trough continue on most governorates of the Sultanate as numerous wadis overflow. Corpses of two people washed away by flowing wadis are retrieved in the wilayas of Hadha and Nizwa as the civil defense deals with a number of trapped cases. Dams in the Sultanate retain great quantities of water due to the rainfalls affected by the air trough. Live from the news center of the Sultanate of Oman television, here are the details of 7 o'clock news bulletin. On the sideline of activities of final practical demonstration of Ra'ad al-Shimal exercise, custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, this morning received His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Saud bin Harb Al Busaidi, Minister responsible for Defense Affairs, and his counterparts, their Highnesses and Excellencies representative or participating countries in the exercise at the King Khalid military city. His Excellency conveyed greetings and best wishes of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos to custodian of two holy mosques of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia of continued health and happiness, and to the brotherly Saudi people of further development and growth. From his part, the custodian of the two holy mosques asked His Excellency the Minister to convey his greetings and best wishes to His Majesty Sultan Qaboos of continued health and long life, and to the Omani people further progress and prosperity. During the meeting, they viewed bonds of joint cooperation and brotherly ties between the two countries. His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Saud bin Harb Al Busaidi had attended the final practical demonstration of Ra'ad al-Shimal exercise, which was held this morning in the northern area of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Hafar al-Batin, under the auspices of King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Events of the final practical demonstration comprised implementation of various air and land operations free-fall parachutes, in which the Omani force took part along with the participating countries in the exercise, in which various types of weapons were used. It's worth mentioning that His Excellency the Minister responsible for Defense Affairs chaired the Sultanate's delegation at the activities of the final demonstration of Ra'ad al-Shimal exercise. The delegation comprised Lieutenant General Ahmed bin Harith al-Nabhani, Chief of Staff of Sultan's Armed Forces, and a number of senior officers of Sultan's Armed Forces. Various intensity rains continued to fall in a number of governorates of the Sultanate which are being affected by air trough. Heavy rains fell in the wilayas of Governorate of North Sharqiya led to overflow of wadis and caused traffic to stop between some wilayas of the governorate. A number of wilayas of the Governorate of South Sharqiya also had various intensity rains. Rains also restarted to fall in a number of wilayas of governorates of Dhahirah, Al-Buraymi, Musandam and Muscat, ranging from light to moderate to heavy, causing most wadis to overflow. Wilayas of the governorates of North and South Al-Batinah also received moderate to heavy rains accompanied by hail, and a number of wadis were overflowing. The Governorate of Dakhiliya also had various intensity rains, causing most wadis to overflow. Most wadis and tributaries were flowing as a result of effect of the air depression trough on the northern governorates of the Sultanate, which is forecasted to diminish by tomorrow, according to predictions issued by National Multi-Hazard Early Warning Center, whose specialists worked as a network team to convey correct information to the members of the public through all media means. Royal Oman policemen undertook greater responsibilities at the rainfall themselves as some people tended to risk crossing the wadis, where it became necessary for rescue operations which come to lend a helping hand at a difficult time. Schools also suspended study today for the second consecutive day. Qualification centers of the Ministry of Social Development also suspended its work. The national transport company Muwasalat did not operate its bus services in the Governorate of Muscat to ensure safety of the passengers in the exceptional rainy conditions. Rainfall made people happy to see and enjoy and made land and trees to look different. Rescue teams of the civil defense retrieved corpses of the person in a vehicle at a Qsaid in the Wilaya of Mhadha. Royal Oman Police Air Wing also found a retrieved corpse of a youth who was lost in a wadi in the Wilaya of Nizwa. 3 cases trapped in a wadi of Al-Umairi of the Wilaya of Bahla were rescued. In all northern governorates of the Sultanate, Royal Oman Police said that it dealt with 7,000 reports related to the weather condition witnessed by the Sultanate. Rains fell in the wilayas of the Governorate of North Sharqiya for the past 2 days, causing wadis and tributaries to overflow. The wilaya of Mudhebi had the highest precipitation. The same was in the wilaya of Dama wa Tayin. The wilaya of Ibra also received heavy rains, as the wilaya of Qabil also received heavy rains, where the traffic flow was suspended on the main road. Rains accompanied by active winds fell in the wilaya of Bidia. Wadi Bani Khalid also received good quantity of rains. Cases of trapping and road and electricity cuts were also recorded in a number of wilayas of the Governorate of North Sharqiya. Royal Oman Police and services of civil defense men were available at the spot to help. Good cooperation was noticed between government and private bodies as well as citizens in restoring the blocked traffic. The Governorate of South Sharqiya witnessed moderate to heavy rains. The wilaya of Ja'lan Bani Bu Ali received heavy to moderate rains, as coastal areas received various intensity rains, causing some wadis to overflow. These pictures show the results of the rainfall in the wilayas of the Governorate. In Governorate of Dakhiliya, wadis are flowing and rainfall is continuous on some wilayas of the Governorate, ranging from light to moderate. Wilaya of Bahla registered a rate of more than 77 millimeters of rainwater. Wadis that heavily flew from top of mountains blocked traffic activity in a number of wilayas. The bodies concerned removed the waste resulting from rains in the streets, and the water accumulations were also eliminated, and the damaged street lights were fixed. Police and civil defense and security personnel exerted remarkable efforts to handle various rescue cases and reports of citizens. 30 cases were dealt with by the police command of Dakhiliya Governorate, 18 cases of which were handled by civil defense and ambulance, 5 cases by police aviation, and 7 others by the citizens themselves. Rains continued for 3 consecutive days on wilayas of Governorate of Dhahirah, mainly Ibri, Yanqal and Dhank, particularly on mountains areas. Wadis and their tributaries flowed. Meanwhile, after the rainfall, government and public bodies went to streets to remove accumulated waste in order to facilitate traffic movement in the roads in the affected areas and villages. The flow of wadis often increases the underground reservoir, which help irrigate dry land. In the Governorate of North Batinah, the majority of wadis in all wilayas of the Governorate were overflowing after the heavy rains accompanied by gusty winds and hailstones. The flowing wadis caused power outages in some wilayas. The overflowing wadis also damaged a number of houses and roads. The efforts exerted by the government bodies and volunteer teams to remove the debris from roads are still continuing in all wilayas of the governorate. Wilayas of the Governorate of South Batinah also witnessed rains for 3 days with varied intensity, accompanied by hail. The rain caused a number of wadis, tributaries and dams to overflow, which caused traffic movement to stop in some roads of the Governorate. On the other hand, government establishments and citizens are exerting their efforts to remove debris from the area to enable a smooth flow of traffic in the Governorate. With us online, our correspondent Saif bin Khalfan al-Kindi from the Wilaya of Nakhal, Governorate of South Batinah. Saif, welcome to our news bulletin. Can you brief us about the weather condition in the Wilaya of Nakhal?
Good evening, Abdullah, and I'm glad to talk about the weather here in South Batinah Governorate. Right now I am in Nakhal. In this wilaya where the sky is still partly cloudy. But just a few hours ago, Abdullah, it was raining heavily around all the villages here around the wilaya of Nakhal. We expect many wadis to be flooded in the coming few hours. It is still raining heavily. But right now, some other wadis in other wilayas in South Batinah regions also flooded this evening.
Saif, what damages were caused by rains till now?
Yeah, Abdullah, today there are no damages except yesterday's damages in South Batinah Governorate of Rustaq especially, and Awabi. And there was also some damages in Suwara Spring where compounds, walls of farms broken. As an effect of the huge wadi we witnessed last night in Nakhal. Some cars also have been trapped in between the road to Awabi and the road from Awabi to Rustaq, but no serious injuries witnessed last night also. ROP people and many people also around the area and people, residents there, they were very helpful to those drivers, and they tried to guide them not to cross the wadi to be in a safe side.
Indeed, this is the time of helping one another. Now, can you tell us which wadis are overflowing at this particular moment?
Yeah, Abdullah, some other wadis flooded in Rustaq and Al-Awabi, as well as in Nakhal and Wadi Al-Ma'awil. For instance, we have Wadi Bani Ghafir and Wadi Al-Farawi in Rustaq, as well as Wadi Al-Huqin, which is partly running, and Wadi Al-Himli. These two wadis are also in Rustaq, but right now they are not heavily running, just very moderate water, and most of the cars started running in the road.
Is the traffic movement affected there?
Not seriously affected, Abdullah, and everything is fine. We contacted ROP, and they said that the roads are smoothly working, and there's no traffic jam in these areas, as the wadis were not heavily like what happened last night in Rustaq and in Nakhal.
Again, that the efforts of exerted by the police is wonderful. Saif, thank you very much for joining us. That was Saif bin Khalfan al-Kindi from the Wilaya of Nakhal. The Governorate of Ibrahim witnessed moderate to heavy rains for 3 consecutive days that caused a number of wadis to overflow. Citizens in the Governorate took the opportunity to witness the rainfall. On the other hand, the government bodies continue its efforts to clear the water pools and debris from the roads which were affected by the overflowing wadis. Still to come in our news bulletin. The Sultanate achieves the 5th position at the level of Middle East for the year 2016 in Economic Freedom Index. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. After flow of wadis, the retention rate in dams increased in most northern governorates. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Municipalities and Water Resources called on citizens and residents to stay away from dams to ensure their safety. The ministry opened one of Al Khod dam gates after it had retained more than 8 million cubic litre of rainwater. More than 60 dams, mainly groundwater feeding dams, surface storage dams and flood protection dams, are spread in different wilayas and governorates of the Sultanate. Those dams play a vital role in retaining quantities of water and preventing it from heading to the sea in order to utilize it in many ways. The 12th Think Kidney Symposium, organized by Renal Dialysis Center at Boshir, was held this morning. I was present at the event and compiled this report.
About 20% of the population.
The 12th Think Kidney Symposium, under the theme Children and Kidney Disease, Act Early to Prevent It, was held today to mark the World Kidney Day. More than 220 doctors, nurses and other healthcare staff attended the symposium, which was led by the leading experts consultant from the Sultan Qaboos University, Minister of Health and University in Egypt. Dr. Yaqub bin Ahmed Al-Maimani, Medical Superintendent of the Dialysis Center in Boshir, in his speech said, World Kidney Day is a global awareness campaign aimed at raising awareness of the importance of kidneys. The Renal Dialysis Center in Boshir organized this event under the banner of Think Kidney to enhance the knowledge among the healthcare givers.
The theme of this year has concentrated particularly in our very important population, and that is our children. The children are very important to be educated and enlightened, and in particular with the rising tsunami of non-communicable diseases such like diabetes, hypertension and chronic kidney disease, to give them the proper education and the information and the facts and how they could prevent it, which is a major role that Ministry of Health is calling for, is what's called healthy lifestyle.
Kidney disease affects millions of people, including children who may be at risk at a very early age, even at birth. This symposium is aimed to educate all medical professionals about their key role in detecting and reducing the risk of chronic kidney diseases, especially among high-risk population. It becomes a responsibility of every medical professional to get educated and introduced to the various ways of preventive measures. The Sultanate achieved the 5th position at the level of Middle East for the year 2016 in Economic Freedom Index with 67 points, as same as the last year. The report, which issued by the International Heritage Institution, highlighted the notable success that the Sultanate achieved during the previous years, especially in the fields of trade and investment freedom, intellectual property rights, organizational efficiency, open markets, in addition to the freedom of practicing business activities, working freedom, the cost of completing the clearance requirements, and freedom of criticisms and trade. Al-Rafd Fund Board today revealed in its meeting that it had financed until the end of February 2016 more than 1,600 projects in all governorates of the Sultanate, covering all sectors of the economy at a cost of more than 67 million Omani riyals. The meeting confirmed that it will continue to support the financing of entrepreneurs' projects, especially for projects with added value in promising sectors that contribute to the development and diversification of the national economy and provide job opportunities for Omanis. The meeting instructed the fund board to adopt some measures to encourage entrepreneurs, especially in the governorates of Musandam and Al-Wusta, due to the small number of projects financed by the fund in these two governorates. The meeting pointed out that the rate of repayment of the loans until the end of February 2016 amounted to 9.8%. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The greetings of His Majesty the Sultan to custodian of the two holy mosques are conveyed by His Excellency the Minister responsible for Defense Affairs during his participation at the final practical demonstration of our Ra'd al-Shimal exercise. The effects of air depression trough continue on most governorates of the Sultanate as numerous wadis overflow. Corpses of two people washed away by flowing wadis are retrieved in the wilayas of Mahada and Nizwa as the civil defense deals with a number of trade cases. And dams in the Sultanate retain great quantities of water due to the rainfalls affected by the air trough. Live from the news center of the Sultanate of Oman Television, we presented to you 7 o'clock news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and studios, it's good night.